Some
Shut
people
up.
would say, some people would say they had their wits end. I'm here to tell you all, don't jump off just yet. Don't listen to Dak Prescott just yet. Okay, Commanders fans, don't jump just yet. But see, Joe, I had you start. The only reason I had you start the last one is because losers have to go first.
That's fine.
But is it time to panic in DC? As a Wizards
Ye-
fan, no. Oh, go ahead.
yes, it's time to panic.
What?
I yeah, it's time to panic. I
For real?
told you, Tomo. Listen to me. Listen, hold on, listen. I came on here and told you last week. My man in my word. I said if we lose the Dallas, we gotta be concerned. Now, when I say panic, I'm talking about people like me. Like I'm not in the building. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I mean, I know what's going on based off what I hear. I'm not in there. So based on what I'm watching, as a fan, you should be worried right now. Yes. So look, I said this in the first segment. Two things. I mean, sorry, number one thing, it's a run game offensively. Check this out, y'all. In our wins, we are averaging 183 rushing yards per game. In our losses, we are averaging 97 rushing yards per game. Although, see, and that's the stats are kind of inflated because of yesterday's stats. We had 145, but JD had 75 of them. So we didn't really run the ball good against the Ravens, under 100 rushing yards. Against the Steelers, under 100 rushing yards. Against the Eagles, under 100 rushing yards. Against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, JD had all the rushing yards. I mean, like he's the only one that, and then against y'all, JD had most of the rushing yards. So when the run game is not running how it's supposed to be, usually we in trouble. We in deep waters. Also, our defense. What I learned about our defense is this. In our wins, we are allowing 17 points a game. In our losses, 31 points a game. The Eagles scored 26. That's the lowest a team has scored on us when we lost. 26 points. So, we are, teams are able to score on us when we lose. And also, I told y'all, our weak sound defense is a pass game. We talk about the run game all the time, right? We always want the run game is what it is. But in the past, in our wins, we are allowing 151 passing yards per game in our wins. But in our losses, 241. That's not terrible. 241 is a lot more than 151. So that's what I'm looking at. The only QB that threw over 200 yards against us in the win was Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had 320. But everybody else had under it had 110, 115, 130. We shut down the passing game when we win our games. Cooper Rush had a solid day yesterday. On Sunday. So the reason why I say it's time to panic because first the excuse was this. Because I'm hearing excuses now from the Commanders locker room. Or I should say Dan Quinn. And he's doing his job. He don't want to create panic amongst the fans, right? So in the first he says, first the excuse when we lose to the Steelers, oh, JD's hurt still. Okay, cool. He's hurt. All right, cool. He's hurt. Then we play the Eagles. The timing. He didn't have enough practice reps. You know what I mean? He hadn't had a full week of practice since his injury, which is true. He hasn't really practiced for real. He's been limited since the Bears game. And then we had a short week. So he said at the time it could be thrown off, all that stuff. He might be tired because they played 12 games in college. He passed that. He hasn't had a bye week yet as a rookie. That's unusual. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. We play Dallas next week. All right, we got home. Dallas ain't good. They just got stumped at home. No excuses. And then we lose again. JD looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. He wasn't bad. But everything else around him didn't, and we still lost. So what's the excuse now? What's the excuse? So I don't have an answer to the problem. I really don't. Right now, it's kind of a wait and see. I got to see the Titans game, who just came off an emotional win also against a division rival, the Texans, who I pick on upset alert, by the way. So I got to see them. Hey, I'm holding on to Dave's words because Dave told me preseason this is going to be JD's best game. So, Dave, word is bomb. All right. I hope your word comes true, So I'm waiting for that. Right now, I'm on a wait and see mode right now. You know what I mean? Wait and see mode. So that's it.
Joe, you
Ty,
shocked me
I'm
with that
talking
one.
about the wins, by the way.
Joe, you shocked me with that one. I think
I'm
the
keeping
role.
it
I,
real.
I think the roles got reversed, man. I got pull a Joe. You asked was the season over. So look, Joe, I don't think it's time for you to panic.
I'm not saying,
No,
but
no,
we're
no,
the
I'm not.
seventh seed also. But I want to mention that too. We're the seventh seed. We're on the edge of the playoff picture, by the way.
But Joe, I got one little glimmer of hope for you, Joe. For
Mhm.
you,
I got
right?
hope, but go ahead.
No, for you, Joe. I just want them to hear because they might try to chop me up. Mark might just hear hope, and nah. If the playoffs was to start today, you all would face the Eagles. You think you could win that one, right?
Man, listen, it's NFL, baby. Now, if I had put money in it, obviously the Eagles are a better team. But it's NFL, baby, so I gotta say.
Okay, that's cool. I give you that one. But I would say I'm with as a fan base, I could say it's time to panic because again, you all were doing so much before these games actually started crashing down on y'all, and it's at the rate in which y'all been losing them. Like, of course, you had 2 games in less than 10 days, so to lose those back to back, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my goodness!" And then you go to lose to a Dallas team who's basically all the fan base in Dallas is looking for a draft pick. I can see why you would say that. But if you're in that locker room, I like what Bobby Wagner had to say was we had to face some adversity. So now it's time to show you what this team really is because he believes that you all are a good team. The offense does need to step it up. I'll give you that. But these are things that you all already knew about. You already knew that Terry McLaurin was your only wide receiver. You already knew that having Noah Brown as a contingency plan or a bridge player until next season was just going to be what it was going to be. Ertz is there. Again, I think you all were very reliant on that run game. I really think so. And I kind of find it also funny that you all say when the run game doesn't work, JD has a bad game because when Zeke Elliott runs over for 100 yards, Dak Prescott is undefeated. That's all I've been hearing all my Cowboy career. So welcome to the club. But the NFC is still, as far as the bottoms here, is still wide open. Like again, Joe, I wouldn't panic too much. I would say use the Titans game as the game to panic. Like I know you want to use the Cowboy game, but it's a rivalry game, so it can go either way. And again, up until the last 5 minutes of that game, it was 10-9. Like it could have went either way. If it went for a minute, it was, but it's a rivalry game. We watched the Browns do it in the snow against the Steelers. We watched the Browns do it to the Ravens, and we don't think the Browns are better than both of those teams. It's just a divisional situation that happens that way. So I would say use this game as your make or break game because if you lose this one, now you're really starting to spiral. Because the Dallas, like I said, the Dallas game could have went either way. The Eagles game could go either way. This one here, you already know this is like if we lose this, we might start falling out of the playoff spot, and we no longer hold. Like the what is it? We're no longer behind the steering wheel. You're now passengers on what's going to happen with your playoff picture.
Hey, real quick, Dave, before you go, the difference between the Steelers losing to the Browns, the Ravens losing to the Browns, is the fact that they were winning before they lost. We won a 2-game losing streak already at home against y'all. Dan Quinn's former team. Where the pride at? You know what I mean? Like we supposed to stomp y'all. I'm sorry. So like that's where I'm at. So I get it, division rival. I get it, but nah. 10-9 game? No. And the defense balling? Defense balling.
Just saying.
And special teams up until that point.
You got a shot though. I want to hear what Dave got
No,
to
I'm
say.
not saying season over. I'm saying like we shouldn't be like, oh no, we can't keep saying, oh, we're gonna be good. No, you can't say that after this loss. And
I'm
sorry,
saying the
Dave.
Titans.
And sorry, Dave. I heard Saquon Barkley had a good game against the Commanders. What did he do the first 3 quarters? Nothing. But he had 2 big runs in the 4th quarter, right? He had a good game. My point. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, Dave. I just want to address one person. Dan was supposed to have a blue. What blueprint?
Shout out to Ricky.
What blueprint? You act like the Cowboys got like a prolific offense or something. What's the blueprint?
All right. So
I wish you would have played Dak though. Go ahead.
Oh,
I kind of agree with Tomo, but I also kind of disagree. I don't think you should panic if you lose to the Titans.
Oh.
What I will say is if you lose to the Saints, that's when you need to panic. If you look at the Titans have a top 5 defense. So that's something I could see you possibly losing. So that's going to be a battle because they have the number 1 passing defense in the league. and they have a top 5 rushing defense. So that's going to be difficult in itself because of that. Now, what gives you the edge on that is your offense is better than the Titans offense. But you have to remember your run defense is still not good, and Tony Pollard just had a good game against the Texans defense, who's actually pretty good, but we know we'll talk about them later. If you lose to the Saints, that's when I think it becomes a problem. Also, Marshawn Lattimore has not played yet. You traded for a guy who has not played yet, so you still have something missing on your defense. So I don't think it's time to panic just yet.
Defense, I get you. I think. Go ahead.
But if you lose to the Saints because after this game you have a bye week, correct?
Yeah.
So after the Titans, you have a bye week. If you come off your bye week and you lose to the Saints, it's time to panic because the Saints. Essentially don't have a defense. If you really look at it, they don't have a defense anymore. The Saints were known for having at least a comparable defense for the last 4 or 5 years, I'll say. And this year it's been pretty much non-existent. So if you lose to a team like that started off hot the first 2 games and then went on a 7-game losing streak and then finally won a game and then lost again. So I mean they're 3-8 right now. If you lose to that team. Or are they 4-7? I think the Titans are 3-8 and the Saints are 4-7. The Saints are 4-7. Yeah. So after they lost 7 straight, they won 2 straight. If you lose to that team, I mean, and you're on the road, but you got to look at it. There's going to be no weather to affect anything, so you don't have to worry about that. JD5 has an opportunity to ball out again and separate himself in the Offensive Rookie of the Year race, because I know you're hearing a lot of Bo Nix noise right now, and Bo Nix had a great game on Sunday. So he had a great game and a win. Now Jaden Daniels had a good game too, but it was in a loss. So that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt him just a little bit.
Yeah, and then I do want to address Blaze. I just want to clear it up first. Kind of disappointed in Blaze because Blaze don't pride himself being a numbers guy. So when I grade players, like especially quarterbacks, I don't grade just by. I don't just look at the numbers, but okay, this is what happened. I try to grade on what they did. You know what I mean? When I watched the Cowboys game, I didn't look at that and say, JD, they was playing bad. There was a lot of drop passes. That's why he ran the ball a lot, because Bama's wasn't catching the ball. So we got to take it. So like when I watch Saquon, he said over 200. You talking about his last? I'm talking about against us. He had 150 yards after like 2 big runs, like 2 runs, 40 plus, something like that. So up until that point, though, and up until that point, Saquon Barkley wasn't really doing much. But I want to sit there and say he's having a bad game, though. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at Jaden Daniels' game. Like yes,
it was okay. It was okayish. It wasn't a good game and it wasn't a great game. It was okay. He played okay up to that point.
If you the numbers would tell you, because I think he had like probably like 90 passing yards, something like that, up into the 4th quarter, something like that. So if you look at the numbers, you'll be like, oh, he playing terrible. But when you watch the game, bro, like you want to be like, oh yeah, JD the problem, bro. Like we drop endless passes, like literally ball going like right to their hands, and bouncing up their chest right back to their hands. It's crazy.
I told y'all about Noah Brown. Remember Dak threw that game and ended interception in Jacksonville, and that was the same pass to Noah Brown that I watched when Noah Brown do on Sunday. I said, man, if that would have got picked off, that would have been a flashback. I would have made a highlight.
Bro.
Well, I'll say this: Jaden Daniels did miss a few throws, but quarterbacks don't make every throw. So
he missed a Terry McLaurin throw, and the other throws, like it was one throw he did get pressure, but I think he threw the ball too soon because the pressure didn't get there. It was on 3rd down. He threw it to the corner power line, and he had Noah Brown open in the middle.
Yeah, wide open.
Yeah, so but it like I said, it happens. I personally don't think you should panic unless you lose to the Saints. You lose to the Titans, it's like, all right, I lost it against a top 5 defense. I mean, you haven't beaten a top defense yet this year, other than I guess you want to say the Bears. That's the only team that you beat. But if you look at,
we can't count that no more. I get you though. At the time, but it's like
at that time. But if you look at the Steelers, you look at the Eagles, the 2 of the top defenses in the league, you lost to both of them. So you go against the Titans, you lose them. It's like, all right, it's a top defense. You go against the Saints and you lose that game, then yeah, I think
then it's over. If we lose to the Titans and the Saints, bro, that's a 5. What's that? 5-game losing
5-game
streak.
losing
It's
streak.
over. Cliff Kingsbury to the rescue. Then your stats. Wow, that's true.
Because right now, and just to give y'all a quick glimpse of what Joe was saying about being on the edge, right now y'all are on the edge because the Arizona Cardinals are 6-5, Tampa Bay is 5-6, Rams is 5-6, San Francisco is 5-6, and we could just stop right there.
Our whole division is 6-5 or 5-6.
Yeah,
we got the tiebreaker though with the Cardinals though.
That's your hope right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bucks got it over y'all. So if you go,
we got
and they got Carolina this weekend. So
I mean that ain't no piece of cake.
That ain't no gimme. That ain't no gimme. Did you see what happened on Sunday? Bryce Young was balling on Sunday. He almost beat the Chiefs.
3 weeks. Oh, they been balling.
See
that
what
ain't no gimme no more.
When you got some rookies on some contracts trying to get paid, they say, I don't know what y'all talking about. All that tanking. We out here to get numbers up. Man.
Hey,
but
Dave Canales might,
that's why I said we're gonna stop right
getting out of the doghouse.
We about to see. Oh no. So we got what I say. So we got the Rams, then we got the San Francisco, and y'all 5-6.